Welcome back to the NFF conference. We're here with Agriculture Minister David Littleproud. David, big week for you guys. Budget, how it's been received?
Mate, it's been well received. The biggest regional rural budget in our nation's history. $21 billion going to the regions for infrastructure to make sure we're filling those supply gaps that are broken, to get product from paddock to plate to port. This is a big budget for regional Australia. We're not waiting for election promises. We're making it through our budget. 4 years of forward estimates put in there of actual spending in regional Australia. No need to worry whether it's a promise. This is actually going to happen under us.
From an ag perspective, given the performance of the sector, did we get our correct slice of the pie?
Well, 600 mil directly, but then that infrastructure, $7.4 billion on dams. That's going to grow agriculture. $7.1 billion on new roads and rail, airports. That's going to help agriculture. 600 million, much of which went into our trade. And this week, signed up with India, 1.3 billion people sitting in India that we've now got access to, that most of our trading partners and friends are envious of. That's a huge win for us. But on top of the other 15 free trade agreements, biosecurity, and the last three budgets over the last 18 months, $1.1 billion worth of new measures. And that's about going to technology and intelligence and making sure that we're protecting with the emerging threats. So this is being targeted at agriculture, at regional Australia. They're intertwined, and I've got to say there's a real feeling of optimism for the first time over 80 billion that we're also now, we're just not acknowledging what they've done, we're acknowledging what they can be, and that's why this investment in the budget was so important.
The India FTA, you've obviously been over there and seen the produce from Australia that goes over there. Should the Australian chickpea farmers and the dairy farmers feel a bit dudded, or? No,
we would have loved to have got them in, but we wouldn't have got the deal up. So in the pursuit of perfection, you don't give up the holistic benefits that it can achieve. And this is a stepping stone for us to continue to work on things like chickpeas and dairy and even beef, as strange as that sounds. So we'll continue to work on that, but this is a stepping stone that no other country has. So we're now able to catapult on some of those other commodities, but we've got to understand that we've also signed free trade agreements with the UK and Indonesia recently that also open us up to fair markets as well. But it is on our radar, and it's something that we continued to pursue, but it would have put a kibosh on the whole show. So we couldn't go ahead and just say no deal because of one or two commodities. We've given them other opportunities in other markets, but we're going to continue to fight for that in India, but understand the domestic political situation that we've got to contend with.
The NFF, obviously, on the ag visa front, the NFF have called for 10 countries to be signed up in the next term of Parliament. Is that feasible?
Well, we've invited India as part of the free trade agreement to be one of those, and there's 4 that we're in bilaterals with, of which 1 has signed up in Vietnam. This has been an article of faith of the National Party. We've challenged everybody, some of our coalition partners as well as the opposition. But what I think the biggest threat is not the 10 countries. If the other mob gets in, I think the AWU are going to put a kibosh on the whole show. They're going to say no. And this is why it's important, if we get to the ballot day, is that Anthony Albanese just has to give a one-word answer, yes or no. No long-winded, this is all about Labor and we're all for this Labor supply. This is just a yes or no answer. Does he believe in an ag visa or not? This is about running the ruler over what the other mob will do. And I can tell you, if he can't say yes and that's it, no more equivocations, then you're losing it.
When can we expect boots on the ground from Vietnam?
Well, Maurice Payne now simply has to sign the contracts with the labour hire companies and the approved employers that we already identified many months ago. Once she signs those, they'll then go into country, into Vietnam, and we'll identify those workers and bring them in as quickly as we can.
Investment in ag, we've seen land prices go up ridiculously, not ridiculously, but very...
Depends which side you're on.
Exactly. Very significantly in the past couple of years. You bought in the coalition bought in the $15 million threshold for FIRB in 2015. Given the amount that land prices have gone up since that time, is it worth revisiting that?
I think that's a good threshold and a good test. All it does is give us an environmental scan of what's happening, the concentration in particular industries and particular areas. I don't think it's onerous on anybody, and I think what it actually does is just give us a level of comfort of understanding does foreign investment work for Australia? Because that's what we should get back to. Not all foreign investment is bad. There's good foreign investment, and we should make sure that it works in our national interest and they pay their fair share of tax.
And some families are coming in pretty strongly at the moment too.
Yeah, and this is a good thing. I mean, this is the evolution of agriculture that's been accelerated. I think you're going to see less family farms, but bigger aggregated family farms, and that's poses some challenges, but it also poses some opportunities. That's the most efficient and profitable family farm, far better than corporates, and that's what will survive. That's what will create our growth. So I'm comfortable that, with land prices where they are, if those that want to exit, the smaller operators, they're going to walk out with not just dignity, they're going to walk out with a bucket load of cash.
Great. David Littleproud, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, mate.